Thank everybody for being with us here today. We are in Austin today as opposed to Kerrville because of deadly storms that have swept across central Texas and areas outside of the Kerrville area, and because of more expected storms that will pose life-threatening danger over the next 24 to 48 hours. I want to emphasize, however, even though we now are broadening the area that we're focused on, we are not at all reducing our focus on Kerrville. They remain a key focus in so many different ways. We continue 24/7 operations to search for anybody who was affected by that deadly storm. We still have our Department of Public Safety assets, the National Guard, Texas Task Force 1 and 2, and game wardens, all fully engaged in responding to the disaster in Kerrville. We also intensify our focus on the families affected by this. They're going through horrific events that have turned their lives upside down. We're working to aid them, assist them with regard to counseling, grief, all kinds of things we can do to assist those families. One of the most important things that we can do is to address their greatest concern, and that is there are so many families that are still waiting to learn about their loved one. And we are working 24/7 to get the information that will be able to answer their question. What I can tell you is several things. I had the opportunity yesterday to visit Camp Mystic and get to see firsthand what happened there, as well as all the way downstream after that. And it was nothing short of horrific to see what those young children went through. And we will remain 100% dedicated, searching for every single one of the children who were at Camp Mystic, as well as anybody else in the entire riverbed, to make sure that they're going to be recovered. We know that parents and families, they want information, they want closure, and we want them to know that we are working as swiftly as possible to get them accurate information that will provide that closure. I do want to thank the local officials, city and county and otherwise, who also are working around the clock to make sure they are addressing those concerns. The information I'm going to give you is as of this current moment in time, knowing that this information will constantly change throughout the remainder of today as well as in the coming days. In Kerrville and Kerr County, there are 59 confirmed deceased. There's still 11 missing from Camp Mystic. Separate from there, in the Central Texas area, there are confirmed 10 deceased. And across the state, in all the areas affected by flooding, there are 41 known missing. It's important to emphasize this, especially in the Kerrville area. There were so many people who were just camping out, not children in camps, but adults camping out near the river, people in RVs and things like that. There are people who are missing who are not on the known confirmed missing because we don't yet know who they are. We will maintain our ongoing search throughout the entire river system to find anybody who may be missing. One thing that could help this is if you are a relative or friend of someone that you think was in Kerrville or Kerr County that you think is missing, please contact the local officials in Kerr County and let them know that you have the name, identification, and other information about a person who is suspected to be missing. If, however, you don't have confirmed information about that and you're making phone calls, you are slowing down the process of the first responders being able to respond to those who are clearly identified as missing. If you're doing that, you're interrupting official business, and that could be potentially illegal. Call only if you have specific information. While we continue the search process in Kerr County, we are now also beginning the process of responding to the disaster that took place. Includes things like debris removal. Anybody who's seen any images whatsoever in the Kerr County area, you know there's debris all over the place that makes roads impassable, that makes reconstruction projects unachievable, that makes search process more difficult. And the state and local governments are working now on that debris removal process. That process is improved because of President Trump's swift declaration of our major disaster declaration. He ensured in less than 24 hours that major disaster declaration was approved, ensuring that state and local governments are going to have more resources to be able to respond to that disaster, more resources to begin the debris removal, more resources to help individuals who've been impacted by this, as well as local governments that have been impacted by this. Bottom line is this, and that is the swift and very robust action by President Trump is an extraordinary help to our response. I also want to thank Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem, with whom I spent the day yesterday in Kerr County. I've been doing this a long time, and I've never seen anybody as responsive and as quickly in her response as what she was yesterday. She didn't wait to get back to us. She was able to, in a matter of minutes, get answers to very important demands. And on behalf of the state of Texas, we cannot thank her or the Trump administration enough. I've also been in contact with, and people reached out from Secretary Kennedy, Secretary Burgum, and others that in the entire administration are a tremendous help. I also want to add that there are governors across the country that have been in contact with either myself or with Chief Nim Kidd or state agencies offering their assistance, including Sarah Huckabee Sanders, the governor of Arkansas, Kim Reynolds, the governor of Iowa, Jim Pillen, the governor of Nebraska, Bill Lee, the governor of Tennessee, Glenn Youngkin, the governor of Virginia, Josh Shapiro, the governor of Pennsylvania, the governor of the state of Oklahoma, and Governor Landry in Louisiana. And again, I'm sorry if I missed some. I know there's others that are constantly reaching out. We're here, as I mentioned, in Austin today because there have been lives lost in this greater region. And importantly, there are dangers over the next 24 to 48 hours that could pose public safety threats to people in these regions. There is heavy rainfall that's already occurred, and there's more heavy rainfall that's expected that will lead to potential flash flooding broadly in these regions: the Big Country, Concho Valley, Central Texas, and once again, Kerrville. The point is this: if you're in any of those regions, you need to realize, for one, you're in an area with land that's already saturated with water. But for another, when more water comes down, it could lead to rapid flash flooding events. Now, there's nothing expected at this time to the magnitude of what was seen in Kerrville. That said, flash flooding can occur at lower levels of water than what happened in Kerrville. It's a particular threat for people who are driving on roadways. Some of the lives lost in Central Texas were people who were swept away in vehicles or in similar crossing type situations. Know that rising water on roads can occur very rapidly. You may think you could drive through it, only to find out when you're in there that it's too late and that you're getting swept away. And so we urge everybody to be extraordinarily cautious for the next 24 to 48 hours. If there's any water on the road, you got to be safe. There's an old saying for a reason, because it's true, and that is, turn around, don't drown. You don't need to get from point A to point B if it's going to risk your life. Your job, the most important thing you can do, is to protect your lives. And taking a step back, for all of us up here, that's our number one job. We put public safety first, and we'll worry about the physical damage second. There are still public safety issues and lives to be saved in Kerr County. There are lives to be saved in all these regions that I just mentioned here. With that, I think, pass it to you, Colonel.
Yes, sir.
Colonel Freeman Martin of the Texas Department of Public Safety.